Hey everyone, this is Shadows of Doubt, and it's a new game that came out on Steam a few days ago, and it has really taken over a lot of my free gaming time. I think the game is crazy fun, and right now we're on the tail end of a long investigative journey that took maybe 1 or 2 hours. I had to narrow down this guy, Augustin Jenkins, and all I knew was that his name started with A, he was an accountant somewhere, and that he was very tall, and he had a wife or a spouse that was a street vendor, and I didn't know her name. Through a lot of detective work, I figured out that this person is the spouse of Augustine, and I found their address, and I was able to confront them. She doesn't know her partner's in trouble, and I started recording this because I assumed that this guy was home and that the arrest would kind of be worthwhile to watch. So right now I'm kind of just asking her questions, and then finally I asked her if I can come and look around, and this is basically what I want the most because I want to sneak up on this guy and try to arrest him. Now this is a side quest, it's not in relation to any murders or anything. This game by itself is like a murder mystery type game that's kind of freewheeling because a lot of stuff is procedural, but there are side quests like this that you can take on odd jobs. Because this guy was wanted and he was armed and dangerous, the payout was pretty good. I think like 2,500 bucks. So I'm now searching his bedroom, can't find him. Sometimes some apartments, this is all procedurally generated as well, the layouts of the apartments. So some apartments also have studies that you can go into. So I assume that that other door was a study, but it wasn't. It just went into the bedroom again. Now I'm just gathering up her information that I find in the apartment because I don't know a lot about her. In case I have to narrow down where Augustine might go, if there's other places that he frequents that also she frequents. The people in this game have schedules in their head, so if they need to sleep, they will get up and they'll turn off the lights. They periodically will go to the bathroom. They'll go to eat. They have jobs and they actually go to the job. Everybody that is in the city has a job that they work at and a location that they live in, and all of that is documented through tenant agreements, employment contracts, and things like that. And they go about their daily life with or without you. So you can, I've seen it myself. Like I've seen somebody that was on the wait staff of a restaurant close up when the restaurant was closed, lock up everything, turn off the lights, go out on the street, put a jacket on, and then walk down the street to go back to their place. So that's a gun, and now I'm curious if that was the armed and dangerous bit that the police had told me about when they gave me the job to arrest this man. So I'm just aware that the weapon is there, and now I'm looking around for some more documents. So I don't care about these employment contracts too much. People I found in this game, if people are street vendors, their employment contract will just say that they are the employee of themselves. So I really don't get much use for that. But right now I don't know a lot about Adriana, so I'm just trying to collect all that stuff. I'm not too worried about collecting anything about the doctor's prescriptions and things like that because there's no use. I know who this person is, and my goal at this moment is to just kind of arrest them. So on this board, this is kind of how you keep tabs of all the evidence that you collect. You can pin things that you find, and it goes on this evidence board, and then you can do the strings to connect everything and change the colors of the strings if you'd like. I normally just keep it red unless there's some questionable relationships, then I'll make it a different color. So these are the tenant agreements for the apartments that they live in together. This is a good way to figure out if somebody is actually cohabitating with somebody. They'll both be on the tenant records, And most homes, I think, will have this box of files somewhere in it. It'll also have the birth certificates too, so if you need that information as well, that's where you find it. So once again, she wants to go to bed, so now I'm asking her, does she know this person? Which obviously she does, and she said she did. And she keeps talking about him. He loves houseplants. We know that they live with her, and this is what I wanted to see. They're at the Glum Goose bar, I think it was, which is downstairs. I find this okay, this game gets pretty laggy when you get a lot of bits of evidence. So the map system here works by levels, and because I was on, I think, the 8th floor, the map just see. I think she's getting up to use the restroom. Yeah. So the next thing we'll try to do is go check out this bar, and then hopefully he's there. Sometimes if too much time has elapsed, they go onward to other things. They might get food, they might hang out in the park or something, or chat with some friends somewhere else. So hopefully he's there. Okay, so now I can plot a course to the business. Luckily it's in the same building, so like I said, people have routines, and what they do is when they get off work, sometimes they're going to go to a place to eat or drink, or they have things they like to do. Some people like to drink, some people like to meet their friends somewhere. So they'll often do that, and then they'll go home. So it's really neat, because if you have somebody's work schedule, in a different case, if you're breaking and entering. So now I know, yeah, if they're breaking and entering, they don't necessarily come home right after work. You still might have a few hours or so. Some do, some go right back home. Now I'm trying to find this person. I already know what they look like, so if I was to hover my mouse over them, I'd see their name. I saw somebody walk past me when I left, and I wasn't sure if it was him or not, so now I'm running back, but turns out it's nobody. I'll go back in, and it looks like he just came out of the bathroom. So that's his name. Now it's time to cuff him. This game goes crazy now because it doesn't... The other characters don't understand that what I'm doing is been sanctioned by the police. So they briefly start to attack me. I'm assuming they're his friends. Because they're doing this, it's causing a lot of lag. The one thing about this game is it's pretty... as pixelated as the artwork looks. If you're playing this in a higher res, like I am in 4K, there's some optimization, I guess, that should be done eventually, and it's coming in the future. I've heard from some of the stuff I read about the devs writing on Reddit and in their Discord and things like that. So we've got the guy in handcuffs now, so he can't harm us, which is good. If you mess that up and they detect that they're about to be arrested, then they'll most likely fight back. Now I've got his gun, and it wasn't the gun that was in the apartment, so they guess that was probably his partner's weapon. So this is how you resolve the cases. You have to actually pick the names to put. You can type it out, or you can select it from your evidence board, which makes it a lot easier, because sometimes for murder cases at least you'll have to put in addresses, and you'll have to also link to the murder weapon if you want extra points. So that's how it's done. Now I'm just kind of... I was waiting to make sure that there was no more attacks that were going to happen to me from his friends. So once that was clear, I've made it so I'm going to chart my way to the City Hall, and that's where you turn in your cases. So this is the same for like murder cases as well. You just drop them off. If you do oddball jobs for others, say somebody with a more criminal background, they'll have you drop things off underneath their door in an apartment or something like that. But this is all officially sanctioned stuff, so I can take this to City Hall for a turn-in, just like the murder cases. So once you submit a case, and just like in murder cases, you wait for the results. They'll process what you think happened or who you think the perpetrators were, and then it's going to tell you if you're right or wrong. So we correctly got the right name for the person and arrested them, so now it's solved. And then we get social credits, which are, this is kind of like the main game goal, is to earn enough social credits to live out of the city. This is kind of like a dystopian late 70s, early 80s alternate timeline. But it's all freewheeling, so you can choose to live in the city as long as you want. You can take a lot more cases. You can go as slow as you want with your cases. And the murder cases are procedurally generated, from my understanding, so they don't happen in a scripted way. Like it's a progression in some games. And what's neat about that is you never get more than one murder case at a time, so it will never be like overwhelming, and there is downtime between the murder cases. And so that's the time that you do these kind of side jobs. Like I said, the game's freewheeling. You can, if you want to just do breaking and entering into businesses or residences, you can certainly do that and make a lot of money doing it. A lot of big businesses have safes. I mean, almost everyone has a safe in this game, and that's where all their valuables are. So if you can get to it, you can sell it at a pawn shop if you have like diamonds and other high value items, and make a lot of money. Now, I'll show you later on. We'll go back to my apartment, and I'll show you what you can do with that money. And some of that is, first off, you can buy. Oh, this is. I forgot. These are. The pawn store is finally open, and I can offload all the diamonds I've been collecting. I had to do a lot of breaking and entering into businesses to find out who had an accountant who was tall and had a letter A for the beginning of their name. So in the process of doing that, I came across a lot of diamonds in their safes, because I was pretty much in them after hours, so there was nobody disturbing me. So you can see here I made like $5 grand, I think. Good chunk of change. And in this game, you on the sandbox mode, you can either start out with it's what you want, but you can configure it either to see. I'm seeing if there's a new apartment here. You can make it so that you're buying, you're getting a new place once you start the game, or you have to go out and buy one once you start the game. So that's how I started, and so I had no home for a little while. I saved up a few $1,000s and got a 3rd level apartment that I live in. I went back to this guy who's still in cuffs, and I figured for the trouble I was going to steal the $100 he had in his wallet when I had searched him, and now I'm being pursued. And that's what's cool about this game, is you can do things like that, and only the people that seen you do the crime will chase you. It could be dangerous if there's a gang of people that have seen you and start chasing you, but I'm pretty much outrunning this guy. And I think the game is slightly bugged, because the pursuit thing usually goes away after some time, but once they can't see you anymore, they stop chasing you, basically. But that tag has remained, and so I just keep running, but now I'm starting to figure out, well, it might be messed up, because it normally doesn't happen like that. Also, when you break into things and do illegal activities in the building, you get a counter that shows the potential amount of fines that you can get if you get caught. And there are security systems in the buildings, and there are security barriers that might drop sometimes to prevent you from moving around freely in the buildings, and then the cops get called on you. And if you get caught, oftentimes you'll get shot and you'll end up in the hospital and have to pay a big bill, but you also get fined and lose a lot of money in the process of doing that. the one way that the game mechanic works when you do get a fine is if you can make it out of the building, it usually disappears within like seconds. So the main goal is to do your crime and try to get out. I'm not sure how if that'll change in the future, but anyways, we go back to the town hall here because I forgot to pick up the sync disc, which that's another game mechanic. You can get these alteration things at you get them installed at certain stores or businesses, and they will give you like character perks. So that one, I get to choose if I want to be 15% taller or 15% shorter. So the trade-off there is I can probably see from a taller vantage point, like looking over barriers and things like that. Or if I was shorter, the line of sight for the cameras, it's easier to hide from because I can duck behind like desks and stuff like that, and they wouldn't be able to see me if I was smaller. So here I am going to a store that does that. Some of these discs have side effects to them that are negative, or they could be there's this one that pays, it's like a soda promotion thing, and they pay you like $5,000 for you to just install this thing, but then the side effect of it, which is very negative, is it makes you really jittery and craving this soda every almost seems like every 30 seconds. It's really insane. And then if you wanted to uninstall it, it costs $6,000 to uninstall it, so they get $1,000 off you. But you can see that kind of information up front, so that's good. And then some of them have upgrades where you can further enhance the perk that it gives you. So I have some perks on some that essentially a lot of the people now will, I can charm them really well, and they'll give me a lot of information for very cheap or for free. So we're plotting the course back to my apartment, and it's on the 3rd floor. I lose count of the stairs and go to the 2nd floor apartment, and that's not us. Well, what's cool about this is the interiors of these buildings are procedurally generated. Like, you can start another game and it's not going to look like this. All the interiors of these apartments are all procedurally generated. There's ducting in this game that goes throughout all these buildings, and that's procedurally generated as well, and it can cross all the floors and go into different units. So it's great for stealth. Now, when you buy a place, it's completely empty. Like in real life, most of us are not buying homes or moving into apartments that are fully furnished. So all this stuff you have to buy, and some of it varies in prices from a few $100s to upwards of $1,000 or more for some big ticket items. Basically, I spent most of the money first putting in marble in my bathroom and buying all these things, and we got a little living room here. I don't know that you could sell real estate in this game. I know you can buy it, but I don't think you can sell it. But you're able to also buy other units as well, so it's kind of funny because, like, in real life, most people would prefer to get the highest level floor condo to get the views, I guess. And I certainly feel that way in this game. Anyways, I hope you like that first look at Shadows of Doubt. I greatly recommend it. It is a really fun game. It's really different. The procedural generation stuff and the relationships that people have in this game is what I crave in a lot of other sandbox games, where there's that level of systems that are all interworking together in a good way. Let me know what you guys think and if you picked it up yourself, and I'll see you later. Bye.